Hey everybody, Michael here. So today I'm going to be making a tutorial on essentially extracting the sound bank files from ProjectZomboid in build 41.6 and above, I would assume. Today is March 11th, 2022, so if this is no longer applicable, sorry for that. However, as of right now, this is hopefully very applicable to those that are trying to make custom soundtracks and custom sound packs for the game and overwrite the original sound and music files that the game uses. So the first thing that you're going to actually need to do this is a tool called FMOD. So FMOD Bank Tools is actually what it's called fully. And I'll put a link for this in the description. So FMOD Bank Tools is what you're going to actually need to take the bank source files that are in the game and actually bring them into a format that you can make changes to them. So I just wanted to show, this is the folder that I have. So this is the FMOD Bank Tools folder that I've made that contains this program. And just to be helpful, I made myself a soundtrack folder, which contains some of the songs that I intend to bring into the game. And the bank folder is where you're going to actually place the .bank file that you will find in this location here. So here's the actual file directory, I should say, that you could find these bank files at. So this is going to be under Steam, Steam Apps Common, ProjectZomboid, Media, Sound, Banks, and then the desktop folder is going to contain these 4 files. So these .bank files are not really in a format that you could readily open them. So if you wanted to make changes to them, it's not very easy to do. This is just a text format trying to open this file. They store a lot of music in them, and you're going to need a special tool to actually extract them. So that's what this FMOD Bank Tools is intended for, and it's pretty simple. It's nothing crazy. So a good idea always is when you're modifying any kind of game files, I highly suggest that you back up these files somewhere secure, that you can bring them back later just in case you made a change that breaks these files. So highly suggest backing these up somewhere, that way you can bring them back. But assuming you've already done that, so what you'll actually do is you'll just copy this music file, in my case, because I'm making a soundtrack addition to the game. So I brought this Zomboid music.bank file into my bank folder. In the FMOD Bank Tools itself, you'll actually select your source folder. So that's actually going to be this folder here, which is the bank folder. And I believe this is already automatically populated. And then the wave folder is going to be the actual folder that contains all of your actual bank files as folders, which contain music and sounds in them. So what you'll do is after putting these two directories in, you'll hit extract. It will actually extract this bank file into this folder. And in this case, it's going to be under the Zomboid music folder. So there is a lot going on in here, unfortunately. Those that are familiar with soundtracks and custom soundtracks for the game prior to build 41, this probably looks a little different. This used to be a file called oldmusic.bank, and there was maybe 30 files tops in that folder, and each file was an individual song. In this case, there are 258 files in this folder. 257 of them are actual sound files, with the final file being a text document which contains the names of all of these sound files. So the unfortunate news is that essentially to replace any of these musics in the game, it is a very manual process. So this is kind of the workflow that I've used for my own music project that I've been starting. So this is kind of just my approach, but I just hope that it can guide people. I've made a little infographic just to kind of better understand exactly what we're looking at right now. So you can see that there's a lot of stuff packed into here. The actual song name is right here. So most of the time that's kind of the format, is you'll have MX, which I assume is music, underscore the purpose of the music, so exploration music or high action music, underscore the name of the song, and then what piece of that song it is, whether it's the bridge or the start of the song. It also contains the tempo in beats per minute, and also the how many bars of music is this file actually. So just to kind of give an example here, I'm just going to open up a file to show. So this is the, let's see, let's just do Desperate Escape start. So I'm going to open this file with Audacity, which is a free program. Highly suggest you download it for this. It's pretty useful. All right, so you can see that we've actually opened this file now, and I'll play it for you. And I just want you to keep in mind that the name is, it's a start of this song. It's a high action song. It's 100 beats per minute, and there's 4 bars in this file, and you'll be able to hear those bars too. Okay, so I'm not going to give any music theory lessons because I don't understand it myself, but this is this sound bit is, the tempo is 100 beats per minute, and there are 4 bars. So in this case, it's 4/4 timing, so it's 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. There's 4 bars of that here. If you're going to be replacing this file, you should probably, I would keep in mind that you should be replacing this with something that is similar to this. So generally speaking, I don't really know exactly how the dynamic Noiseworks sound system works, but I'm assuming it's probably time dependent to some degree. So if you were to replace this with, let's say, a 200 beats per minute song, that song might be cut short. Or if you replace this with a 50 beats per minute song, it might also be incorrect, I should say. So in order to actually replace this file, it's actually pretty straightforward. So this is the normal Zomboid song or sound for this file. And then I will also open up, let's see if I can just open up Audacity again after I just closed it. By the way, this is not my music. This belongs to somebody else, and I don't own this at all. So just for the record. So this is the original song that I pulled from Fallout. And when I'm doing any kind of music work like this, I usually find it pretty helpful to actually, what's the word? There's a few online utilities where you can plug in, WAV files or audio files, and it will tell you how many beats per minute it is and things like that. And what I'll actually do is I'll, get the beats per minute and, the time signature if I can, and I'll actually create a rhythm track with some of these parameters that are of the song. So in this case, I actually don't remember what the tempo of the song was, but it's 4/4 and 74 bars, and I'll just show you an example. So it'll populate a rhythm track below your track, and you'll be able to hear that in the background, actually. In this case, obviously, the timing is off. The tempo isn't correct, so this isn't going to be really accurate. But just to show that, I can actually show you the correct tempo. So you can imagine that if I did this correctly, I went and found the tempo of the song. I lined it up so that each beat is pretty accurate, I'd say, with the actual song where these beats are. So this is one full bar in this case because it's in 4/4 timing, and you could literally see it's 1 2 3 4, and then it restarts with the second bar. So this is 1 bar. And in this case, just to show, if I were to be replacing this file, for example, the one that I have highlighted here, this is a high action song, Desperate Escape, and it's actually the stop of the song, and it's only 1 bar long. So in order to actually, just to show this as an example, what I would actually do is I will get a full bar of my song here. And that's it. So I would actually select that and then I will actually file export this as export selected audio. As you can see, I just highlighted this on the screen. Export the selected audio, and you're going to want to find, go up to this, Zomboid music folder that you have under your FMOD folder. And under the Zomboid music folder, you're going to actually find the song bit that you want to replace. So I actually have the file browsers open, usually on my second monitor when I'm doing this. But just as an example, if I wanted to replace this bit right here, I will just copy the name of the file itself, and I will literally just save and replace this file. I'm not going to do that right now, but just that's typically what I would do. And I consider this Zomboid music folder as basically a working folder. So it's okay to overwrite these files, especially if you've backed up the zomboidmusic.bank file previously. So I don't have a problem working directly in here, and it's a lot easier just to kind of go down the list really and just try to find songs that are kind of related to what I'm listening to. So after all that work, even if you're just doing a few parts of the of this full directory, if you're not going to actually replace every single song, you don't have to. So, but once I'm done, assuming that these are all my finished files, I'm ready to put these in the game. What I'll actually do is go back to that FMOD tool, and I will make sure that this is still accurate. The bank source folder and the wave destination folder are accurate. And just click rebuild. And rebuild will actually go ahead and take the contents of this folder, and actually the contents of all of these folders, and it will pack them back into .bank files, assuming there is a .bank file within this folder. So if there is no .bank file in this folder, this function will not work. So in this case, if you click rebuild, this Zomboid music.bank file gets updated. You can see this has been recently modified by me. And really all it is at this point is just copying this file into your Project Zomboid desktop folder, just as you can see here, as we've had it open this whole time. And after that, you launch the game and you see if it worked. A good way to test this would be to actually make the first song that you intend on modifying the theme, or the menu, I should say. So if you go and find, here's some intro music. That's for when you're in a load screen. Let's see if I can find that menu music. It's somewhere here. Here we go. Oh, no, not yet. Man, I'm really missing this. Here it is. So these are the actual menu music files that are in the game. And I've already actually replaced these myself. So actually, I will show you that right now. Now, obviously, that is not the Project Zomboid menu music. This is the one of the soundtracks from Fallout 2. So you can see that I have already replaced this file. I've already written this. And I'm actually going to launch into the game as well, just to show you that. So launch Project Zomboid here. And keep in mind that this file has already been updated in my Project Zomboid folder. So all right. And as you can actually hear already, the game is still trying to boot. As you can hear, actually, the music is working. So it actually sounds like the music that we replaced the original music with, which means that this, so far, is working. One thing I've noticed is that sometimes, when replacing files with, grossly different BPMs, sometimes you'll have some problems on timing. Songs will get interrupted when they're not supposed to be, or they'll end when they're not supposed to, or they will start, and, all that stuff. So keep in mind, if you're going to be replacing any of these files, try to find something that's, hopefully fairly close to this. And, if you're going to be replacing, 4 bars of a song, you should probably replace that with 4 bars of another song. I actually don't know if there's any way to really change any of this, or to add any extra sound files. So really this method is only good for if you're replacing the files that are originally in the game. But with that said, I hope that this has been helpful. I'm applying this method myself. It's very time consuming, but it's well worth it, especially if you are trying to make a mod for players to enjoy some different music. Something to keep in mind too, if you want people to be able to download this mod that you're making, you're going to actually have to basically provide the Zomboid music.bank file to them, and they're going to have to manually install this, meaning they're going to have to go into this desktop folder. They're going to have to back up their music file somewhere so that they can have it somewhere, and then they're going to drop in your Zomboid music.bank file that you've made with your custom music. And every time they want to be able to change between those two soundtracks, they will need to manually change those files. A little time consuming, but well worth it, especially if you're trying to make role play servers happen or anything like that. So I hope this has been helpful, and of course if there's any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thanks.